in regards to your question, in regards to building the team, in the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about how just 1 year ago we hired our first video editor, even though we've been doing video for 2 years.
Yeah.
In a whole year, who was doing all the video projects? You and I. We were out there planning, scripting. We were out there shooting. We were out there improvising, and we came back and we were here editing and delivering. It's really bizarre then to hire someone to do part of that job, and then hire someone else to shoot, and hire someone else to create treatments. And realizing that even though you're creating something that is more of a craft and the focus is more to be an artisan, there's bias everywhere. It changes from person to person. Everyone's inputting their personality, even though we are catering to the client, because both can coexist. And so it's been really crazy to, on one hand, offload your brain, systemize it so that you're not doing all the pieces of the puzzle. And by now I don't shoot, I don't edit, I don't create scripts. I'm just supervising, 46 projects going by and making sure that they're being done with quality and the right time and so on and so forth. But that took still takes a lot of effort for us to systemize this correctly, offload one's brain, and at the same time leave enough space so that during all those steps you're not making it so tight so that people can't
be human
and execute. So
that plays in
did I answer your question?
It makes me think of what you say about this idea of ego, because I remember this moment that follows when we kind of sat and look at each other and say, what is my job here? Of then feeling very small, of feeling like a little kid who shows up and you see everybody else doing stuff, you're like, oh, what do I do now? Who's gonna play with me?
Right.
Which is kind of it's a strange thing. It's like you said, that sort of that feeling of isolation. Your job is to make yourself obsolete and to introduce other people to the organization and to the way things operate, because that's the nature of growing. But there's this hurdle internally that you have to get over, at least I've found, with knowing that what you're doing was special at one point. It's not special anymore.
Yeah.
You can train somebody else to do it, and because they're going to be doing it exclusively, they're going to be doing it better than you were doing it.
Yeah.
And that's scary. I think that's something that a lot of founders and organizational leaders have to grapple with. It's something I know that has been very in my mind over the last couple of months as we've been designing a lot of the sales, the marketing, the communication side, and starting to offload those responsibilities. There is a bit of ego when you say, at least for me, I say, well, who else is going to do sales? There's a point of pride to say,
oh my God,
I did sales and I was the tip of the spear. I was the guy in there with the machete in the wood and forging these relationships. And as we talk about bringing on a salesperson, then the thought comes, well, can somebody really do it? And of course somebody can do it. There are salespeople.
But I remember, that's such a good point. I'm known in this organization to be, well, the joke was, right, one of our values, Gigsy Good. Well, how did that expression come up? Because one of our photographers and videographers was so frustrated that I kept having him go back and doing so many iterations of these edits that I was like, Ollie, do you want this to be good or do you want this to be Gigsy Good? And that's how we created this value, and now it's something that's on our wall and we even joke about. But it has to do a lot about this. I am not out there producing the great majority of treatments. I'm not out there shooting. I go to a lot of shoots, but Nathan and Kyron are the ones who are mainly shooting nowadays, and I'm definitely not there hands-on editing, even though I do quality checks every day with them. Does that mean that I'm not producing these? By no means, right? We have created an obsession over quality here. And when you mix quality with very short delivery times, then it becomes even more challenging, which I find super fun. But it's all to say that accepting that I'm an animal, I'm a human, I'm just 31 years old, I'm as wise as I think I can be at this moment with my experience level, and heck yes, I have an ego. And that's not a problem, and I try to contain it. But yes, at the end of the day, nothing will leave this organization, whether we have 10 people in this organization or 100 people, without me looking at it and saying, this is awesome, this is amazing, this is Gigsy Good.